Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Over Manga Cast. It's your host, Jay here, and on this episode, we do another revisit of one of our OG fave, Fire Force. On this episode, we read chapters 39 through 66, and it gets pretty wild, so stay tuned.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always, here at the top of the show, we talk about our familiarity with the franchise we read this week. I've done literally nothing with Fire Force since our last episode, so familiarity is a bit of a stretch of the definition. Jacob, how about you?
I forgot who most of the characters and most of plot points were. I was very, very thankful for the beginning of volume, who the fuck are these people things, because there's a lot of stuff I would not have caught otherwise.
All right, Jay, how about you?
So, I'm in a similar boat. I haven't read more, but I have rocked out to the opening on my commute to work. So, yes, it is a banger.
Excellent. And Matt?
I haven't experienced any more Fire Force since our last episode.
All right. So we open up where we left off, which was Company 8, our protagonists, continuing their investigation into the governmental/church conspiracy that has been going on.
I just gotta say, I'm super thankful that this conspiracy is aware of how much the main characters know about it, and that's how much they give a shit about keeping it a secret anymore.
Well, you see, the audience knows about it, so we just have to be as upfront and bombastic about it as possible.
You're joking, and I'm not even gonna fault the mangaka against that, because that's how fan bases act. So I mean, it's just like, these people are stupid. They don't know that these people are really evil, and I'm like, yeah, because you watched them do the crimes. What?
Why doesn't everybody in a hive city know what a Tyranid is? Because they're not us. They're not the external viewers of the universe. Anyway.
Why doesn't everyone know that he has deep knowledge of the katanas and how to use them to fight the evil people?
Who's to say? But yes, Company 8 has arrived at Company 7's headquarters in order to continue their investigation into this conspiracy. And Company 7 is a very odd bunch for the Fire Force. They are what the series calls proto-nationalists. They do not like the Holy Empire of Tokyo or Seoul or whatever it is. They want to be free from the empire and live a traditionally Japanese life.
They want to have their names in the right order.
Yes. But Infernal still happens, so they need to fight them. And that's kind of how they got roped into being a special Fire Force.
Fire Force.
Yes.
And we see the unique Company 7 way of dealing with Infernals, which is basically just property damage.
Yeah.
Is that the Company 7 way, or is that the Benimaru way?
Well, it's the Company 7 way because everybody's cheering for it.
Yeah.
Benimaru seems to be like a physical embodiment of every value this entire neighborhood holds. So I'm just going to consider everything he does to be something the people of Akasuka would like.
We see enough that people are asking for this sort of thing.
Yeah, because we get introduced and almost immediately an old man goes infernal, starts burning things down, and then Benimaru flies on a broomstick made of fire, and everyone's just like, oh, is that his power? No, his power is much more complicated than that.
He just does it for the swag.
Yeah, it's also much less complicated. Benimaru's actually got a power that makes sense in the power system.
It's actually a real fire-based power.
He's got actual pyrokinesis.
He can generate fire out of his hands, and he can also manipulate fire. So he's got the Generation 3 and Generation 2, and he's both of them.
He is functionally a firebender.
He is him. He is him.
I mean, yes. The number of people who want to sleep with him in this city is
and even
higher than
please
it should
no. Please.
He's like the Dracula Flow guy if he had depression.
Yeah.
He's seen the Magna Carta. He's seen the Eye of Horus.
Anyway, there's other characters in this fire station, but they don't matter.
They sure do exist.
There is the Lieutenant, Konoro, who has shonen protagonist dying to death disease.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are the annoying twins.
I love those little gremlins.
Of course you would.
I couldn't even call them annoying. They're barely in the manga. Like,
They are in several key pivotal scenes. Like, there are 2 revelations that they happen to, like, be the whole huzzah, surprise. So I would say they play a pretty significant role.
their power also doesn't come up, but it's one of the ones that I still don't understand, where you just wrap yourself in flame and become... They turn into Kitsune.
It looks really cool.
It's really cool, but I'm like, isn't that just Lucky Lecher's power?
Basically, yeah.
So does that
We don't
actually
even
mean
see
that-
them do anything. They just show off the Kitsune form and then
They
it
just have a
cuts
full...
away.
Yeah, it's just a full page of like, by the way, we turn into Kitsune foxes made of fire. Isn't that cool?
Like, yes, it is
Yeah.
cool.
I guess this form shift gives you a power up like it does Tamaki, kind of, sort of, maybe?
We still don't know if that's true. but-
Tamaki the power up.
Well, yes, it does, because she gets... the one fight she has, it like makes her faster, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The power system in this is
Stupid.
it's fun.
It sure is something. This town's like whole gimmick is that instead of doing the traditional Sun Temple like funerals for infernals, Benimaru just ritualistically destroys like huge swaths of the neighborhood in the midst of the fight.
To be fair, they do it the traditional way of like cremation, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Sun Empire is... It's very unclear if the Sun Empire is a foreign power or if it's Tokyo that decided
It's a weird thing of like, well, because it's got such heavy Catholic vibes. It feels like this post-apocalypse had like people in Tokyo who had been influenced by like Catholicism and whatnot, who created some weird syncretism.
Yeah, there's an exposition dump that it's pretty later, but we might as well mention it now just because what ended up happening is global apocalypse, and because Tokyo was able to get a power generator, there's a weird implication that there's like no power anywhere and like nature is dying without electricity or something, which is really weird.
I've got words about that. We'll get to it.
There's a lot about this that's hard to talk about without that character, is kind of why I didn't want to talk about it now. Even though
The short version is because Tokyo was the only place that had power, it had a lot of immigration, and they made the place more Catholic to be accommodating. And that's specifically what I think it's Asakasa is the town, and Company 7 doesn't like.
Yeah.
They wanted to hold on to their cultural identity
their
more strongly.
proto-nationalism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is a common theme on other series that I'm familiar with as well, where the Catholic Church is the uniting factor in apocalyptic circumstances.
Hey, Trench Crusade is very popular right now. Benimaru ritualistically kind of destroys the town to create kind of like fire breaks, I guess, and then defeats the Infernal.
Well, it's also making a show of the passing of someone who went infernal.
Yeah.
It's like you would have wanted your end to be spectacular, and everyone wants to remember you that way.
Also, because he's a second generation user as well as a third, he gets more powerful the more fire he can manipulate. So I think that's the idea, is he's making a whole bunch of fire so he can condense it into one really powerful blast.
Yeah. So Company 8 helps with the rebuilding of the town. Shinra can fly, very helpful. Arthur can weld. The lieutenant is good with a nail gun. Maki's really strong. Tamaki's bra falls off, so she keeps morale up.
Yep, she sure is there.
She sure is there.
She's barely in our reading, to be fair.
Yeah.
I know, this is the most significant thing she does. It's depressing.
One of the most significant things she does is that one klutzy trip moment where it goes full circle. She somehow manages to kickflip enough that Shinra's head goes into the collar of her shirt, and like slides down his whole torso.
Oh yeah.
So
I did not understand the geometry of that panel. I'm not.
You didn't.
gonna
You weren't
lie.
expected to. You were expected to appreciate the service that you were given.
To be fair, it seems like they've gotten bored of Tamaki's joke, and now they're just going full like insanity with it. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
he's wearing like a full-length jumpsuit, and that still isn't enough. I like whatever.
Going full Looney Tunes with it.
But yeah, she shows up. I don't know. I even kind of like her bit in like it's a montage of how everyone is being helpful, and then Tamaki's just at the end not being helpful, and I'm like, that is kind of a funny like comedic beat.
Yes. But the Evangelist Alliance people, the white clad like Templar types, they learn that Company is in the region of Company 7, and they're like, well, we can't let Company 8 continue to learn stuff, so we're gonna go screw everything up and kill them.
We can't have Company 8 learn stuff, so we're going to be really loud and bombastic, reveal our location and our plans, and be extremely noticeable. This can't possibly go wrong.
They introduce a character that's got such an insanely useful power, and then use it so blatantly as like a distraction. I don't.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I've got words about this arc, but
yeah, this arc is strange. We end the chapter with a hint at the lieutenant of Company 7, Konoro. His problem, the reason that he doesn't participate in any battles is because he's got this shonen protag dying to death disease where he used too much firepower, and now his body is slowly carbonizing and crumbling into ash. And
I was about to say, it's way cooler than shonen dying to death disease.
yeah.
He used too much power, and now his body has like turned into charcoal briquettes. Like,
yeah, it is really cool.
This is the correct way to use anime dying to death disease. Because it's like we mock this trope, but it can be implemented correctly, and this is an example of it.
yeah, this is a great sign of like, well, if it's just being angry makes you better at firepower, why don't you just be the angriest all the time? And it's just like, because you burn up and die.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
It's not good at all. And Benimaru has this entire like hang up where it's like, no, Konoro, you should have been the captain. You were the level-headed one, the strongest, the leader. I'm just some destructive asshole who nobody would willingly follow, despite the fact that everybody in town willingly follows him and says so out loud constantly.
Well, I mean, part of that is, humility. I mean, not part of it,
True.
all of it. Like, do you want to be with a pompous jerk, or do you want to be with a guy who's humble enough to say, I don't really want to lead?
It's
but
also
I know
Yeah, it is also guilt, to be fair. He considers himself responsible for Konoro's condition.
which is fun because when we see the flashback, it's insane why he would ever think that.
Again, that's why he's so great.
Kind of waffling back and forth, because I was going to say imposter syndrome. Yeah, guilt is a little bit more accurate to what specifically the issue is, but he's guilty because of imposter syndrome, so...
Well, because he thinks that the lieutenant's more qualified, but the lieutenant obviously can't be captain, because the whole like vibe here is that might makes right. Mm-hmm. So the strongest person should be, because they're not a traditional fire company. They're a bunch of like proto-nationalists who are just really good at killing demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, as is explained in the flashback later, they were just vigilantes until they proved themselves enough. But Benimaru goes on a walk to clear his head. Actually, he's told...
He's told by Shinra to go meet with the captain and Lieutenant Hibana.
It's so much more convoluted than that.
Yeah, it's complicated.
I guess, yeah. Do we just want to talk about what this must have happened, like, full, like, looking back on it? Because if you walk through the plot, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, if you go through the plot beat by beat, it doesn't make sense. But, like, hopefully, readers, you've done the reading already, and you know what all the plot points are.
Yeah, the thing is, the evangelists have access to a guy whose power is he can use heat to manipulate the bone structure and like muscles and fat in people's faces to warp their faces into perfect simulacrums of other people. So it's a doppelganger issue.
I miss the dignity of audio acoustic cooling.
Audio acoustic cooling at least had fake science. But
well, no, it had real fake science behind it.
Yeah, to be fair, using heat to like modify your face is a temporary thing you can kind of do.
You can change your face so it's not recognizable for a couple of minutes. You can't mold like clay people into other faces that are nearly indistinguishable.
It's a very sophomoric understanding of heat making things more plastic.
And I just remember as I was reading this, it's like, yes, we're going to turn this entire town into infernals. And I'm just sitting there reading like, I really hope that whatever the hell is actually going on now isn't disappointing. And then we got that, and I was disappointed.
Yeah, because they played up. What they must have done is disguised one of the evangelists who are apparently... The process of turning their face into a different face is not a 100% success rate, because this dude's insane and just kills his like half-finished creations if he doesn't like where the art's going. So he made people that looked identical to the captain of 8 and the lieutenant of 8, and then had one of them go to Shinra and say, hey, tell the captain of 7 to come meet us in this alleyway. And then they come to the alleyway.
And Shinra went, all right, boss.
And then these two, like imposters, went into the alleyway. And when Captain of 7 was within earshot, but not seeing them yet, went, aha, it is good that we turned all the people into infernals so that we could kill them all. Yes, because we are evil.
And then he peeked into the alleyway and saw what appeared to be Captain Obi and Lieutenant Hinawa being like, yes, now he will turn the whole town into infernals. And instead of confronting them immediately, like is the kind of thing he would do, he ran back to headquarters.
It makes no sense because
it doesn't make sense. He would have had the fakes and eyesight the entire time. There was no place where a switchover could have happened.
And like the one thing is, why did he run back? Because it's not... When he runs back, the entire like Company 7 tells him, hey, maybe there's more to the story. Maybe we should relax. And he's like, nope, I'm going to murder both of them now. And it's just like, you could have just done that where you were then if you weren't going to listen to anybody.
It's so weird because like he goes running, I guess, because the real Captain Obi and Lieutenant Hinwa were out
at a convenience store.
They were going to the convenience store. So I guess the imposters somehow ran from Benimaru, got to those two, did not see them, and then didn't have the real ones see them, and then hid so that Benimaru would see the real ones and attack them.
It's almost as if they came up with the explanation after this because they were setting up a cheap shock twist. I sure hope that they're not just going to do cheap shock twists and use that to try to prop up a thin story, because that would get really tedious.
It was a really cool panel to have the captain and the lieutenant, though, on the roof going like, haha, we're evil now. Yeah. And the entire time I'm like, well, obviously that's not them. Like,
yeah,
I don't think the story expects you to think it's them.
Well, no, see, you want to know the thing I feared, and I don't know if this is better or worse than what we actually got, because we just explained why what we actually got is really fucking stupid. But I was expecting it to be some kind of like
4D chess.
Either there was like a misunderstanding of they like were like saying the evangelists would think, or like something stupid and convoluted like that. But that would be really obnoxious and annoying because that would require such a convoluted conversation to the degree of how the geometry of this chase scene worked. Or alternatively, they were going to fake being evangelists to convince the captain of 7 that the evangelists were real, which is a really stupid plan that could very easily backfire. And what we got instead was Knife Nose Man. We'll get to him.
I don't know. I feel like it was very clear the entire time that they were setting up someone has firepower. Someone has powers to make themselves look like an imposter. And for a moment, I was just like, that's stupid. Fire can't do that. And then I remembered what manga I was reading.
Yeah. I have I have thoughts about the girl with the sun flare.
Well, no, we'll get there.
Magnets, how do they work?
We'll get to it.
We're trying to stay on track here.
Yeah, we have a big fight where Company 8 attacks Benimaru. And
it's a really cool fight. I'll give it that.
It is a cool fight.
Captain comes in with his armor and then is just like, I don't understand. What could your power be? Why are you holding back? I ain't got a power, bitch. Oh, shoot.
My power is to punch you in the face.
Love it.
We have Matt's favorite example of why do these fire powers make any sense when Hinawa goes to shoot Benny and Benny stops the bullets and turns them back on it.
I don't even understand what was happening in that panel. I was very confused.
I feel bad because I know if you're listening to these episodes in order, I have complained about this in both previous episodes that's not how bullets work. But in this, it makes even less sense because they have no more thrust. It's not even like it's coming from his gun. And it's just so haphazardly.
He magnetos them.
He magnetos them to turn around and speed up. It makes no sense unless bullets are fireworks in this. Like it.
I think they allude to them.
They're special bullets that have jet engines in them.
They have
multiple priming chambers. That's somehow.
I mean, that's the thing. They have to be. And like the insane thing is, we see a character later on who has a like mechanical hand that has multiple firing chambers. So this makes sense. Like the bullets just don't. But whatever. At this point, I have accepted fire powers can control bullets because they're firearms.
Yeah. So we have the Captain v Captain fight with Obi and Benny, which is really cool. It's Obi just using his 0 levels in Sorcerer, everything put into Fighter, just pure human grit.
He keeps chucking extinguishing grenades over and over to get... It's a good fight.
With increasingly hilarious ways of like producing them out of nowhere. Like at one point he just lifts up the folds of his suit and grenades rain down.
I mean, yeah. He's got a big suit.
It's very bulky.
Oh, I've been playing a lot of Arkham Batman recently, and I was thinking about that.
But yeah, it's a hell of a fight. Benimaru is about to use his ultimate finishing kill move, the Hinakami Kagura. I mean, yeah, it's the same Sunwheel like motif.
I mean, yeah, they both have the same inspiration.
It's the same. It's using the same inspiration.
Konoro holds him back, which sets Konoro on, and this finally calms Benimaru down. While Konoro is recovering from his wounds, he's like, let me tell you my tragic backstory.
He burned too hot.
Yeah, which we alluded to before. Specifically, it was a night with like 12 infernals all happening at once, and it's Benny and Konoro.
They don't say this out. They don't say this outright, but the very heavy implication is that evangelist forces were like firebugging people to try to get a special infernal, which is the demonic looking ones with the horns, and they eventually succeed. And that's when we get the whole, I must sacrifice myself so that Benimaru can continue.
Yep.
Did the evangelist exist back then? I thought the firebug was a recent thing.
The implication is that it's them because it's their MO. They don't say that outright, and I don't know if the timeline matches up.
I thought the implication was just this town is just a hotspot for fire activity for some reason.
They did the evangelist forces do say that this is a place of power, which implies a like sort of ley line thing going on.
Yeah, it could have been a natural event. It could have been the evangelist. I got conspiratorial vibes, especially with the way the evangelists were talking about it when they were doing it this time. You might be right about the timeline not matching up. I don't remember exactly, but that also might be a hint for some shocking plot twist later.
The evangelists also do say, like, oh, we've confirmed, like, a demon can spawn in the same place as one has spawned before. So maybe they did start the first one, or maybe they just know a demon spawned here. Like,
yeah, they don't say one way or the other. And in all honesty, it's probably being set there so that they can either follow up on that idea or not later.
It really doesn't matter from a shonen battle manga sense. Like it,
Yeah. Like it can be used. Do you remember this from from 3 volumes ago?
The thing that matters is in the act of killing that demonic infernal, Konoro managed to blow a 30-meter diameter crater in the ground.
Oh, but anyway, because the evangelists are, I guess, incompetent.
Yeah.
They tricked the 2 fire captains to fight each other.
Yeah.
They were winning.
So their plan has succeeded. If they just shut up and left.
They would have just won, but they could have even released infernal bugs to do their tests. That would have worked too. But they decided to continue disguising their agents as just everybody in town. And then suddenly
commit crimes.
Yeah, and the town is just starting to complain that there are people who look like other people but are evil.
Hey, why'd you skip out on the bill? I didn't even eat at your shop tonight. Hey, why did you call my mom a hoe? I was on this side of town.
Why were you walking with another woman? We're married. Just insane things to do.
And the other thing that's weird about this is
isn't this literally a thing the villains do during a flashback in Sentai Red? Or Isekai Red? It's not the same, but it's just making everybody distrustful and fighting each other.
Oh, yeah. This is a Sentai tier plot. It's not logical. Because, there's also the level of, convoluted nonsense of, nobody notices 2 people who have the same face at the same time. The precision required to pull off all of these crimes without anybody realizing there's doppelgangers is insane. Why did they put this much effort into this stupidity?
Also, it's insane the reaction time they have because they disguise someone as one of the annoying twins in one of the few 15-minute moments they aren't directly next to each other at all times. Although I do like the scene with the twins because it's just them fighting, going that's not my sister. That's someone who's disguised themselves to look like my sister. And everyone's just I can't tell them apart. And then Arthur just goes up and knees one of them in the face. He's that was clearly a gross old man. Are you guys all blind? And they're Arthur, you just hit a child. And he's just no, I didn't. And because Arthur is the best character in this manga,
yes,
he was right. That was just a gross old man.
He's you guys are insane. You letting this gross old man be weird?
He's over there dressing in drag. They JoJo stop him.
Arthur's idiot savant powers are insane. His int is so low he can't be fooled by the illusion.
I don't even know. I don't know if he's even stupid at this point. I think he just doesn't give a shit about anything that isn't being a knight.
Yes, he makes that very apparent too.
Later on, he is going to Don Quixote even harder than the actual fucking Don Quixote.
But yeah, they find out that because they start interrogating this guy, that someone has the power to make doppelgangers. And this guy just reveals this information because why not? And then he firebugs himself to turn himself into an infernal. And they just kill him. They just kill him before he can transform fully. It's pretty hardcore.
Pretty freaking hardcore, yeah.
I mean, fair, because I mean, yeah.
He was effectively already dead.
We get the face. We finally meet the face changing villain, and I don't like him at all.
He sure is a guy.
This is a problem that Fire Force has had a couple of times. There are cases where Fire Force will either try to be really badass or tell a serious story, and then they have this character, and the placement of the goofiness is wrong because later on in our reading, they're actually really good job of using goofy humor and the nature of the characters to insert a moment of levity. And then here's this guy cutting paper with his nose. So when it's supposed to be taken seriously.
I know what the problem is here. This guy's a Soul Eater villain. And this guy would be intimidating in Soul Eater, because in Soul Eater there's a whole thing where like the evil influence there is like the being of insanity itself, and the people who follow him slowly become more and more insane. And that's what this guy is doing, is being insane. The problem is he's part of a religious order. Yeah, like it's like, oh no, this guy's just insane, and these like religious zealots are working with him for some reason. Like it,
yeah,
there's not a good reason.
Yeah, it messes with the tone, which is a feat, because Fire Force isn't that serious. If you screw up the tone in a series that isn't that serious, that's a problem.
Yeah.
The rest of them are relatively fine. Like, the rest of them are like religious zealot crazy. That works. That's the point.
He's supposed to appear like dangerously insane because he's like in the midst of molding like a guy's face for the doppelganger issue, and then he's like, "No, I don't like it. This isn't art at all. It came out a dud. You're a dud. I'm going to crush your head like a tomato. Oh wait, I had been superheating your entire face, so when your blood splattered on my face, it is hot. Oh no, true art would never hurt me. That would be ridiculous. So he was never art in the first place. Quit killing our believers. We only have so many of them. Please, we only have so many zealots willing to do this."
Because that's the problem, is like, he's a perfectly fine villain if he were like an escaped serial killer.
Yeah.
But he's working for a religious order, and like that doesn't like to be fair, these like people they're sending out are essentially going to suicide bomb themselves, is what they're doing. So them dying isn't a big deal, but like it's not like casually kill them. That doesn't make sense in the morality.
Yeah. They're not dying for the cause in that case.
Yeah.
At about this time that all this has been revealed, a whole bunch of those sleeper agents go infernal. On top of that, more bugs have been released into the town. So now the Evangelist kill team is going to go in and annihilate Company 8. And at the same time, it's like, all right, cool. Asakusa has this like power zone, so maybe another demon will show up.
And there's a whole thing about how no one knows what to do because Benny isn't stepping up and being a leader. And that's kind of like the whole thing in his flashback. Because this entire arc is really about Benny realizing he needs to like actually take control because he's been running from it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And like this giant chaos is finally the thing where Benny was realizing everyone else is freaking out. I'm relatively calm and I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
So he rips the top floor off a temple, shoots it into the air with rockets, and I guess shouts really loud.
Yeah, I guess he casts thaumaturgy so he can be heard by the whole town with his loud voice. And he says, "Hey guys! We got a real rough neighborhood, don't we? Just start kicking the shit out of each other. If they're not a townie, then they're bitches and they'll lose the fight." Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is amazing. He just told everyone to beat the shit out of anyone they think is an imposter. You know you're not an imposter, so that's one down.
So fight everyone else.
This is the worst Among Us lobby ever.
So you say that, but these people all have like super bad plastic surgery, so one punch to the face reveals they're like not who they say they are. So yeah. it works amazingly.
It works amazingly, and the town has a lot of fun because they just have a fight festival.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
There are a lot of cases. There are a lot of cases where townsfolk are fighting other real townsfolk, and they don't care. Meanwhile, we have another artillery fight, which is also really good.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, they even use humor well. I really like the fact that when the strong chick can't take out one of the arrows, she turns it into her little fire sprite thing to make it non-lethal. That's a good use of a character quirk.
I like the 2-on-2 we get where Shinra and Arthur are fighting a sniper and some like pugilist in a mask, and Arthur just keeps shouting, knights are immune from ranged damage.
I think you just declared that like out of nowhere.
No, because Arthur is a child playing knight and goes like, "Nah, I've got a shield that blocks all arrows," except it works for him for some reason.
Yeah.
Projectiles do not work on knights.
He is the equivalent over mind over matter. He can make it happen. Don't ask why. Don't ask how. It just
see,
is.
Arthur, to make that work, you need to take some levels in Monk
No.
and get the deflect projectiles.
I don't wanna. No.
This fight's fun.
It is fun. I do. It has a thing of like Shinra actually trying to think tactically. Like, okay, so the sniper is taking pot shots and then running away. We can't really deflect the shots even with all of our power, so this is really dangerous. But are they running away to get away from us, or are they trying to lure us away to like separate and destroy? And then Arthur just yells some bullshit and he's like, oh fuck it, come on, we're just going, we're bum rushing them, I don't want to listen to you.
And to be fair, Shinra was overthinking it. Like,
yeah, he was,
which is weird because the next arc is supposedly about how Shinra doesn't think things through enough.
It's
weird.
It's a different kind of thinking things through, I guess. Like, Shinra is getting in his own head about this when Arthur just has, like, a clear purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this 2v2 fight is really cool because the two Evangelist members, they work together extremely well. They've clearly been in a lot of combat together. They are very much in sync. Meanwhile, Arthur and Shinra just keep getting in each other's way. And they're getting their asses kicked for it, which is a cool way to highlight the weaknesses of the shonen pro tags.
Yeah, because they are both WM1ing really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the solution Shinra comes up with was, oh shit, I can fly. What if I just hover over your shoulders? You're shooting fire out of your feet. Maybe don't do that. Oh wait, that doesn't matter at any point.
Yeah, that way you can swing your sword as much as you want. And I can kick as much as I want, and we won't hit each other.
You know what? Okay.
Yeah, it works.
They're fire resistant. It's fine. Their formation tactics is enough to defeat the pugilist, so he decides to sacrifice himself for the archer to make a tactical retreat.
Yep, so
a little bit of column A, column B, because he's also sacrificing himself on the gamble that it will turn him into a demon, because this is a wellspring of firepower, so he might awaken stronger than he ever was before, kind of.
Yeah, as it turns out, he does. He goes full demon and is way too powerful for Shinra and Arthur to take on.
And then Benny comes in and is just like, well, I'm gonna fight him because I'm the best. And I'm going to take him way up into the sky, and I'm going to blow him up with all my power.
Yep. He rides in on his witch's broom, jabs the demon in the gut, and flies him into the sky. Because I remember how much of a crater Konoro left. I don't want to actually, like, blow up the entire town.
Meanwhile, Sniper sitting on the sidelines going like, that idiot. He's way up in the sky. He's got no defenses. I'ma just kill him with my super fire bullets.
Mm-hmm. And here's where we actually have to jump back to something that we kind of skimmed over before. When Konoro was giving his backstory, he was saying, like, he was going on this whole thing about, like, I need to, you know, like, Benimaru is the one with the real potential. He's the one that people follow. If I have to put my life on the line to save him, then that's what I'll do. I'll do it over and over again. And Shinra's like, that's stupid. I'm the hero. Let me put my life on the line. Okay, I'll take you up on that, kid.
Yeah. And we cut to the lieutenant sitting on his bed going like, I can't get up. I'm too weak. But I see that arrow going after Benny. I gotta stop it, but I can't. I'm going to put my faith in you, kid. And he kind of just says to myself, please help him. And we cut to Shinra, who feels a tingle in his feet as he hears that prayer whispered to no one echo in his ears and is just like, yo, I can answer that.
Uh-huh. Which is interesting with the whole Adola Burst and Adola Link thing. You know, the sort of like deep lore plot that they're building up.
It comes up a lot more in the second half of our reading, so we can talk about it there. But
we'll get into it there. but it is enough for, Shinra to realize that something is up. He blasts into the sky, channels enough power to catch up to the arrow, and with all his fury, redirects the arrow away from Benimaru, because
the archer mentioned something to the effect of his Adola Burst flames are the flames that will consume souls, and he reasserts his heroic aspirations. Honestly, this is mostly just cool panels. Shinlo looks freaking awesome. That is the thing that Fire Force does best.
I do like how it's continuing the whole I'm not a devil, I'm a hero thing.
Yeah.
Because, he got over his whole, like, I've got a really creepy smile hang up long ago. But, it keeps coming up with ways of, like, bringing back the core, like, issue.
Making his heroic aspirations front and center. Yeah, no, I mean, part of the reason that it is so cool is because it's motivated. It's not just cool art. It also is motivated. It's when Fire Force is at its best.
Plus, it is just, we did skim over a little bit. The evangelist tried to recruit him in this arc by going like, you're a fire meant to burn away the souls of sinners. Join us on the side of righteousness. And he's just like, that.
No, I am here to help people.
Yeah. And, just, your fires are meant to burn the souls of the wicked is just a hard ass line. Like,
yep.
Oh, so yeah, he deflects the shot, and then Benny's just able to go full force and is just like, yeah, you see this demon? I'm unlocking Crimson Moon Amaterasu, and creates fire so big and so spherical, it looks like a second red moon in the sky.
Has risen over the town. It is so freaking cool.
Hit spheres, brother. Hit spheres.
It's spherical.
Oh. But yeah, they managed to kill all the people who turned into Infernals. They punched all the evangelists, and
Benimaru is falling to his death, but we get one more prayer through the Adola link for Shinra to catch him.
Oh, and anyway, the two fire captains join their bond as brothers by sharing a cup of sake, and we get a pretty funny bit where Benny can't hold his liquor. And despite the fact he's such a hard ass, just giggles and smiles when he's drunk. And by drunk, I mean he has touched alcohol to his lips slightly.
It immediately shatters his sour demeanor, and he just starts grinning. And the whole town's like, "Yes, get Benny more booze. We love this. We love the smiler."
Yeah, look at him.
He's adorable. And we also get teased of a major character that's going to be in our next section, who I'm glad that there's the who the hell are these people volume like starter things, because I forgot who this character was.
Yeah, because when Company 8 returns home, they've got a brand new science officer.
Well, him too. I was also referring to Shinra's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shu.
You forgot Shinra's brother, who hasn't appeared since our first reading and like the very beginning of the
He was teased in our second reading. It was kind of the big thing, and I forgot that because it's like wait, Shinra's brother is on the bad guy team was like one of the big revelations, and I would have forgotten that.
Yeah, he's being like teased for the next major event because he's like, next time I will join you in the field, as he draws his sword. Wait a minute. No. He's got a sword. He can teleport. He's got white hair. He's fucking Virgil, dude.
Show me your motivation.
Didn't you make that joke last time?
We might have, but show me your motivation, Shinra.
Oh, it's to be a hero.
Yeah. But with that, we read through the first arc of our 2-arc reading, so now's a good enough time for a break as any.
Indeed.
We gotta cool off a little bit. Can't overheat.
We're gonna cool off a little bit, and we'll be right back.
Blossom up. Oh, wait, no, we can't blossom up.
Oh no! Infernals!
No!
Ah!
Get the extinguisher.
And welcome back to the show, folks. Where last we left our heroes, they had just finished up. Well, they technically went to Company 7 to get information and got into a fight with the BBEG faction, so I guess that counts as information.
They made friends.
They did make friends, which, as we all know, is the most important thing in the world in shonen action.
They gained a lot of information because one of the enemies tried to recruit Shinra.
Yes.
Which is actually a very reasonable way to gain information.
It is. So they return to base and they find that they've got a new member of Company 8. They have a new science team member.
No one wanted this. It was forced on them by corporate.
It was forced on them by corporate, which is especially concerning because I certainly didn't remember, but thankfully the opening of the next chapter was happy to inform me that this is the guy that was working with Joker. You know, the bad guy from the first arc.
Yeah. Who we learn apparently isn't with the Evangelist. He's just a random extra faction that we have to remember now.
He's literally the Joker. He's in it for the bit.
Well, he's got the weird, like, pseudo mentor thing going on with Shinra as his old deal.
Yeah. But the new science man, we have Steins Gate at home.
This new science man, I immediately flagged and I flagged for Matt. I'm just like, this guy's evil. Something about him is just not adding up, and he's evil. I don't know. I couldn't quantify it at the time.
You're not the only one to think that. Everybody in Company 8 thinks the exact same thing.
We also already know he's evil because we saw him being a villain in an earlier arc.
Well, no. The thing is, I had the same reaction because I forgot he existed, and I'm like, they're going to reveal this guy as evil, aren't they? That would be stupid because Shinra's entire thing is about not succumbing to appearance. Oh, wait, he was a villain in a previous arc. That's why he's acting obnoxiously shady.
I'm just saying, I immediately sussed this guy out after I completely forgot his existence, and I'm like, this guy's evil.
Also, the whole thing is because of the, like, incidents they've had with Infernals, they are requiring that every company has a research officer and an engineer. And they're like, okay, so we forced a research officer on you. It's like, well, we already had one. Princess Hibana was doing it. No, her company's entire thing is research. You need your own dedicated research officer that isn't just a captain doing all of your work for you, which it is weird you're in this situation.
Yeah. I also like how old Vic here is simultaneously the best and worst infiltrator ever, because literally everybody in Company 8 and Hibana is just like, dude, you're totally shady as hell. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just your average scientist here to help. See, I'm doing the old salute and everything. The salute is done with the other hand. Oh, I mean, I am just a scientist. I'm a civilian, really. Oh, hey, Shinra, you're the one with the Adola burst, right? I'm gonna touch your feet. Dude, why are you so creepy?
I'm into that, but why are you so creepy?
Well, Princess Hibana is not into it.
And yet, despite the fact that everybody is sus on him, he never gets voted out.
They don't have the ability to vote him out.
Yeah, they already used their emergency meeting.
Like, he's being forced upon them. They don't have a choice in this matter.
They have extrajudicially fought other members of their organization before and suffered little consequences. They have gone to war against entire other companies. And the only reason they didn't suffer for it is because it all worked out because of shonen fight friendship.
Yes, that was a good summation, Sam.
This is where we get our exposition.
Woohoo!
The first half was necessary. The rest of it is really...
Yeah, we get a view of the world map, which looks like if you took a bunch of styrofoam, cut it into the shape of the continents, cut jigsaws into that, and then left it to dissolve in water for like a week.
Yeah, because supposedly what happened is the polar ice caps melted and flooded the world, and Japan was fine.
Somehow. There's also a really weird thing where there's like, it looks like a line was cut into the continents and they were shifted.
Probably.
Yeah, I thought that was like a printing error or something, but no.
It's not on the line for the spine.
Yeah. Yeah, so like Australia is like shifted upwards slightly.
Australia knows what it did.
Yeah.
Well, what did Central Asia do then?
They know what they did.
They know what they did. We'll leave it
You're
at
right.
that.
They crossed the Holy Empire of Japan.
Yeah, don't do that.
There's just a freaking like exploded crater where Central Europe was.
They know what they did. That one's not even a joke. That one's just historical accuracy.
So did the you know what, the Canadians too.
They know what they did.
They know what they did. Yes.
But yeah, the world has crumbled into pieces. The continents are all askew. Nations are gone. Ecosystems destroyed. Tokyo is like the one place that's fine because it's still above water, and it has Amaterasu, the eternal power generation plant.
That's all you need, really. Makes sense.
We have a thermoelectric plant and therefore Japanese superiority.
Well, apparently this thermoelectric plant is everlasting because it is powered by an Edola burst flame, but also an Edola burst flame might have caused the cataclysm that fucked up the world. So,
also, I still say that thing is powered with Soylent Green.
Probably. So the scientists are like, the Edola burst is also the flame of perdition. Do you have some sort of hang up about that, Shinra, because of something a villain said to you?
Man, Dr. Light just standing here going like, yeah, you sure know a lot about Edola burst, but have I ever told you that the Empire is probably evil and wrong? It's like, you're making a lot of points for someone who's supposed to be an imperial scientist.
So, could you tell me what the Edola link is? Sorry, got no idea what it is. Meanwhile, internally, ho, Shinra Kusakabe, you've discovered the Edola link. Omoshiroi.
Oh my god.
This is his personality, by the way. This is a perfectly accurate summation.
I know, and if you're trying to not suss people out, stop. Just stop.
Get some help.
I think genuinely what he's trying to do is he knows they're not going to trust him, so he's being like performatively creepy to like assuage their fears that they know what's up in that he's a weirdo, not
He's a spy. Yeah.
I mean, it's both. But I'm just saying, as a spy, you need to be doing a better job to account for that. But 100%, this guy is just a weirdo. Like, flat out. This is not an act. He just is.
Well, I mean, all Company 8 is weirdos, so he's fitting in. That's the problem. Like, at this point, I think Princess Iban is more of a spy than any of them.
She is the one who's apparently putting listening bugs on people going into the field.
We'll get to that one.
But it's like, all right, cool. We have our science team now, but do we have an engineer? No. Well, I do have someone in mind. Oh, are you talking about him? Yes, I am talking about Vulcan. Why did you have to say it all dramatic-like?
Do you mean possibly the most qualified engineer you could possibly have?
They call him Vulcan because they say that he is the power of the ancient god of the Forge. That is how skilled of an engineer he is. Unfortunately, he has some sort of grudge against Hajime Industries and the Fire Force, and no one's been able to recruit him.
So I'm going to send a bunch of children who are his age to go meet with him, but I'm going to ask you all wear your casual clothes. That includes you, sister.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll take off my, nun outfit then.
Oh my. Suddenly the audience is very interested.
Also, is it just me, or does Iris look significantly shorter in her civvies?
Well, she's not wearing her church-appointed high heels.
You know?
I'm not kidding. That's part of her habit. Like,
yeah, actually, you know what? You're right. I had forgotten about those, I guess.
Also, she wears her habit adds 2 inches to her height.
Yep. So our away team goes to talk to Vulcan. Arthur and Shinra are both talking like gangsters because they've picked up Akatsuka slang.
Yeah, and this is honestly the part that I mentioned before where they use like goofiness for like an effective moment of levity, because these two goobers, they keep trying to talk like they're trying to talk like ponchos, and they are absolutely not. And it's cute, you know, because like they've been influenced by these people that they saw that were really cool, and it's like they're lame in a fun way.
They picked up some slang in a different part of the country and then are using it wrong.
Yeah.
And like trying to find excuses to use it to look cool, and it makes them look lame, and it's funny. Like it's effective character writing.
And I love Iris just standing there going like, I wish I could have gone on the mission with you guys, and then I could say stupid slang words.
So they arrive at Vulcan's headquarters, this weird chimeric amalgam of like mechanical animals in the middle of a junkyard.
I'm gonna say it right now. Vulcan is just a One Piece character.
He is a One Piece character. You are correct.
Oh, and they get accosted by a security system, which sure is a thing.
Yep. It throws 7-Up at them at great velocity.
No, it throws 7 down at them. I gotta say, the soda names in this were great. My favorite was a Coke.
That could be anything.
It could even be a Coke.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Close second is Mocha-Cola.
They don't throw the Coke because Iris is too cute, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, again, hopefully you've done the reading. We find out that's a robot arm. Apparently the robot arm doesn't want to throw soda at...
It is perfectly fine with beaning Shinra and Arthur in the head, but not the cute girl.
Yeah. The whole thing is they talk too loud about being fire soldiers right outside the front door of the person they know hates fire soldiers. And they were told explicitly not to wear their uniform to go meet.
Well, but they were also told to be as open and honest about being Fire Force as possible, because if they didn't, then it would come off like they were lying.
Yeah, there's a middle ground between that and what they did, though.
That's also fair.
Well, yeah. And then they, God, this entire beginning of this chapter is literally just a One Piece arc. Like we meet the guy who's super talented at something, but he's accosted by people who don't like him. Because we find out that he's also being recruited by Company 3, who's led by the plague doctor, Dr. Giovanni.
Yeah.
And literally, they show up at this workshop at the most opportune time.
Wait, this is even more of a One Piece arc, because a background character that you thought would never matter again showed up to give our heroes an in to the lair of the guy they're trying to meet.
Oh my god, you're right. The boy they helped like so long ago, Shinra needs to have a flashback to remember who he is. Because he's someone they rescued in like Arc 2.
Yeah, like you saved my life from that Infernal. Oh yeah, back during that fight with Company 5. Anyway, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm the apprentice of this weird junkyard inventor. Well, I call myself his apprentice. I'm really more of a gopher because he hasn't actually like acknowledged me.
Acknowledge me, senpai.
Yeah, he says that, but then we get some flashbacks later that make me question that assessment, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, this fucking full out goes out and says that this is his like family. So I'm like, I think you're good, kid. I think you're good.
Ah, yes, Master, I brought you the materials that you requested. Don't call me Master. It's either Vulcan or Shitface.
Question mark? Okay.
Hold it, Turface! Oh, Shinra and Arthur.
I have no words. That tells me all the details I need to know about the intimacy of the relationship.
Basically, yeah.
Really?
Apparently, Vulcan has been so resistant to these recruiting efforts that you, the young boy, he needs to go running around to every junkyard that hasn't blacklisted them yet to get raw material.
That's really sweet. Honestly, immediately, this one's a real one.
Yeah. Also, they live with a super hot chick that is definitely just a sister to them, Lisa. And I'm like, man, that is a character design.
Yes, it is. It certainly is.
It's not a background character design, is what I immediately noticed, but
yep, she's got the Lord Death belt buckle.
I don't know. This arc was so much of a One Piece. Like it was a One Piece arc by the books. I was surprised by nothing. But but yeah, we get introduced to this guy who says, "I'm not joining your crew, Luffy. I mean, I'm not joining your company, Shinra." But we find out he's got some guy who was looking for him anyway, and is just like, I've turned you down so many times, Dr. Giovanni, the most villainous looking man I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, we've tried to recruit you. Also, it's a shame both your father and grandfather died of infernal turning the second you quit.
Yeah. Sure is.
That is a shame.
Anyway, I'm going to go back to engineer gaming because his method of building things appears to just be TF2 as he whacks it with a wrench until it works and then gives it a stress test by kicking it as hard as he can to make sure that it doesn't break.
It won't break.
I like that this is a family earned trait that, like, if you're building something, it needs to be super strong. So you take a thing that's been built and you immediately smash it on the ground. Mm-hmm. And this is like a familial trait that they've bred into them for like all their time working together. Keep that in mind for later.
I threw it on the ground. I threw the rest of the cake too.
Oh. But yeah, we see Dr. Giovanni walk away after not getting what he wants and kind of just says to himself, well, I guess we're going to have to murder Vulcan. And then Shinra feels his feet tingle as he hears that prayer in his head. And I'm like, wait, what? And I legit for a second thought he was going to go like full Manchurian candidate and kill Vulcan because that's what the paneling looks like. And then I'm like, oh, wait, hold on.
That would have been wild as hell.
But no, he's
that
just
does not happen.
Yeah, Shinra's just like, oh shit, they're gonna kill him.
I can't kill him. I've seen his dream.
Yeah. I was gonna say before that we get a little bit more backstory and apparently, okay, so like I get ecological devastation from the state of the world or whatever, but like a whole bunch of sea life also vanished, and the dialogue implies it's because the world doesn't have power anymore. It's weirdly phrased.
I want to say it's like there's some electromagnetism creating a temperate zone around the empire. Because everything else we hear is kind of like global warming, like everything got too hot for life to be sustained.
Yeah.
Like the seas boiled and like, yeah, and I don't know how a power plant stops that from happening. But the other thing we know about the power plant is it's probably magic. We haven't had that confirmed, but it's probably magic.
Vulcan's goal is to create a power plant stronger than Amaterasu, which will provide enough power for every living thing on the planet. And his method of doing that involves creating an animatronic squirrel that can piss for 3 whole pages.
It's pretty
it
funny.
Sure does.
I love how he just copy-pasted the panel 3 times.
Arthur's just holding the squirrel going like, should I keep it? Put it the f*** down, Arthur! Everyone is telling him to stop holding it. It gets funnier each panel because Arthur is just not understanding, just put this thing down. It's like, so it's mine now. It's my responsibility. I'm the father. Arthur, shut up. Arthur, just shut up.
We're gonna go.
My favorite character. Same brain cell.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Iris turns into Dee Dee.
Ooh, what does this button do?
That one also launches mechanical animal heads into the stratosphere. Wow!
Why did you build that?
Why did you build that? And why do you keep touching buttons when they keep doing the same thing? The same undesirable outcome.
Why do you have a button that turns the elephant head mounted on your house into an atmospheric rocket?
You need to be prepared. I don't know why this is a question you have. Obviously, it's important.
To be fair, Vulcan does answer that, and his answer is just like depressive sad boy of like, because I need reminded that everything you love can come crashing down in a second. I'm like, holy shit, bud.
I mean, I took it as like he also needs to be cognizant of the fact that he needs to remain some like type of control over these animatronic animals.
I guess.
Given his sad boy flashback, I'm gonna lean towards my interpretation, but yeah, maybe yours too.
Little a column A, little a column B.
I'm just saying, I'm like, you're trying to bring robot overlords right to our doorstep. You gotta remain some level of control here.
So to be fair, these aren't robots. They almost appear like they're just like
They're like
wind-up
animatronics.
toys.
Yeah.
So after he shows them the hologram of all the biodiversity that Earth used to have, and he's like, "My dream is to bring all this back. Now I'm not going to work for you. Screw off." He goes back inside.
We get a dramatic picture and learn that Dr. Giovanni used to work with his father and grandfather, and it is perfectly logical for this picture to be torn, but the fact that they are doing so much to hide Giovanni's face is like, this is not going to be a satisfying reveal. I don't care who's under the mask.
We also get Lisa's backstory where she's like, "Both of my parents died in an infernal attack. I went to live with relatives, but they all died too, until I had no choice but to go into a convent. But I wasn't gonna be a nun, so I ran away. Oh, sorry, Iris, you're right there. No, it's fine."
I love this backstory. This backstory is great. Like,
everybody made it up.
And then everybody in my extended family died until I was sleeping in a junkyard.
You say that, but I was full One Piece brained on this. I'm just like, yep, that's someone's backstory. That I believe it 100%.
You know what? True.
I'm like, yep, that's yeah, and all your family members died. Yeah, that makes sense. You look like a main character. I can see where this is going.
You look like your family's dead. Wow.
So long story short, the twist in this was so cliche, it actually convinced me it wasn't going to happen. So when it happened, I'm like, holy shit.
Right?
I was expecting One Piece and got, oh no, I was evil the whole time because the doctor attacks. Shinra goes to stop them. They there's a whole thing with Arthur because Shinra flies off to go fight Giovanni in the woods. There's two people who come to attack to kill Vulcan. They rip off their Company 3 disguises to reveal themselves as evangelist. No one's surprised. And everyone's in the shed. They're like, "Arthur, we need to make sure you're super strong to fight them." And he's just like, "Well, I'm sorry. I can't help you. We're all going to die. I'm just wearing casual clothes. I'm not wearing my knight regalia." What?
That means I can't get it up. Wait, so you need your knight cosplay to use your fire powers? Yes. Fuck. Okay, then.
And then he proves that, like, with other objects, he can make the blade, but the blade is only super strong and formed when he's got the knight regalia. And I'm like, God damn it, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, you know what? Sure, give me 5 minutes. And Vulcan starts crafting away.
And then this reveal. Say it with me, folks. We don't kink shame on the Over Manga Cast, but we will kink ask why.
Because they do so much to make it seem. They even introduced the robot animals. And I think they did that only to set up this joke. Because you think, through everything they've displayed, he's going to have built Arthur a robot horse that's fireproof.
That he can ride forth on.
No. He made a robotic donkey head to go over Arthur's dick.
I mean, wouldn't you?
I love...
It's literally a strap-on ass head.
Yeah.
I love the panel that this is revealed in. He's pelvic thrusting.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like he knows.
Hi-ho, Silver.
This is the part where he Don Quixote's harder than Don Quixote, because I'm pretty sure Don Quixote actually had a horse.
And then he had a donkey is his whole thing, but
yeah.
They throw a tarp on his back as a knightly cloak. And the thing about it is, it works. Arthur is so much stronger than we've ever seen him. He cuts an entire army of people in half, only to reveal that 90% of them were mirages. He is so powerful. The king raises the miracle in his hand aloft and cries its name, Excalibur, as he does the whole fucking noble phantasm.
Yeah, and like the thing that's made clear is, even though most of the army that Arthur wiped out was illusions, it's pretty clear that wouldn't have mattered.
He would have killed so many people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were mostly illusions. So Arthur's fighting those people. And that's when we cut back to the inside and Vulcan's just like, you guys get out of there. I'm going to go help Arthur. Because there's a whole thing where the Mirage guy turns into him and reveals he looks super fucking stupid. And Arthur's just like, I don't look like a knight at all. Aww. And he gets significantly weaker. Yeah.
He basically goes back to his regular power level.
And we cut to the inside, and Vulcan's just like, nah, I'm a good guy. I'm going to help these strangers who came. And I'm like, this is the One Piece plot. And I'm following the One Piece vibe, and it's going to be her the story in One Piece is totally going to be Lisa has to grab you and get them both out of there while he goes back to fight with him. And then we reveal Lisa was a villain.
Well, so here's the thing for me. They do the freaking tragic backstory, like going into detail on like them like being together, and then like page turn, Lisa hits him with a stun gun, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, they wouldn't have wasted all of our time with this if so like this is going to be she's stun gunning him to like get him out of there, right? Nope, she's just evil.
She was the long con from Dr. Giovanni.
This problem here I feel is starting to become a bit of a problem in manga, because this is actually a big part of the reason why I don't vibe with Jujutsu Kaisen. Why did you waste my time with all of that backstory? If you're like, the problem mostly comes down to placement. If that backstory had come earlier and I had gotten more invested in Lisa as a character, I would have felt bad about her turning evil. But like the bluntness of, do you feel for the character yet? Well, too bad. Here's the stun gun.
One chapter later.
Yeah, it was more annoying than it was like tragic or whatever.
It just caught me so entirely by surprise. I barely felt anything. I was like, wait, what? Because I'm like, okay, she's going to hit him with a stun gun so that he doesn't get hurt and she's going to go out and fight. No. She's like, stay out of this, you, and blasts him away. Make one wrong step and I'll kill Vulcan. What? Huh?
Because I was on the One Piece brain and like this was a break from trope in that way, I'm just like, okay, that shocked me. It was when they got to explaining that she had been a double agent and all the family things had been a lie so that she could get him into Company 3. I'm like, oh, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Get him in Company 3 or figure out the secret that Giovanni wanted.
Yeah. To be fair, they kind of leave a plot thread that might be that she wasn't 100. She had like forgotten her mission a little bit along the way.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure they are going to do that.
The classic of went too far undercover.
The thing I mentioned before about, boy, I sure hope that they're not just going to pull random shock twists out of their ass, because that would get really tedious if they keep doing that. Yeah, this is honestly what I've discovered is to a large extent my problem with Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's something that Fire Force does too, where it's like, you get me invested in these characters, and then they're just evil, or they die, usually in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, it makes me not want to get invested in the story if you're going to so quickly and so bluntly pull the rug out from under. Because like this plot line can absolutely work. This can be done in a way that's satisfying. This ain't it.
Yeah.
Whilst all this has been going on, Shinra he doesn't know he's specifically up against Giovanni yet, and he gets tased twice. Mm-hmm. And honestly, what I was expecting, and this is the more standard thing that like a lot of like lower tier shonen will do, once Giovanni comes out and says, yes, this is my evil plan, I'll now tie him up and give him to the evangelist. I was expecting Shinra to pop up at that point and be like, I was playing possum. He's actually just full on captured, and there's no one to come help him or save him. This actually does a pretty good job of being like, wait, did they just lose? Mm-hmm. Like, this is a failure state.
Between Lisa's betrayal and Giovanni winning the fight and capturing Shinra,
and Arthur losing his power up.
Arthur's losing his power up, and also while he's putting up a decent fight, he's still getting his ass kicked by.
One really cool thing with the Arthur fight. Honestly, I think Arthur has been used progressively better in each arc or in each of our readings, because we do more he's not a thinker, he's a doer. He reacts instinctively, and his reflexes are being used against him by the one creating the mirages.
Mm-hmm.
Because he reflexively reacts to them, even though he, like, you know, it's like there's like, oh, Arthur's so stupid, he doesn't know they're not real. But like, even if you took that aspect of his character away, which the scene basically does, they make it clear that it's his reflexes are betraying him, and that's actually making this a bit of a soft counter towards him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really
which is juxtaposed by Shinra's fight, which is him getting outmaneuvered and outthought by like the guy redirecting fights. Like, no, you should have thought 3 steps ahead. What are you doing here?
Mm-hmm. You should. Sometimes you need to tap on the stone bridge to decide whether you will cross it or not. This will become my arc phrase.
Yeah, he loves that arc phrase.
I don't. I'm going to be honest. I started skimming his dialogue.
Yeah, same. Because it's just him waxing eloquent.
I appreciate the volumes have like the little details because I was genuinely curious what the phrase meant. But yeah, they explain it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like this is basically a full-on failure state. And like the thing is, in shonens, the good guys are going to win at the end. Like, you know, there's that natural element of like the main character isn't going to die because if they did, then the series ends. So how do you generate tension? And this is a really good example of how you generate tension. How the hell do they get out of this? They have no help. All of the good guys are tied up or outmatched. They have no way of contacting anyone on the outside. And the way that they get out of it is a very character-motivated element of Hibana planted a tracker on her sister.
Yep. She put a wire on Iris, so as soon as she heard all of the commotion happening over that, she came running.
She comes in and she saves Shinra so he can get the salty run back. Like, that's really clever. I genuinely appreciated that. I wish that Fire Force did this sort of thing more often instead of the nonsense that it usually gets up to.
I love that Hibana's allowed to still be a badass in this fight too, because she's stronger than Shinra. It's just like their fight was Shinra had a lot of things going for him, and just like power wise, he's kind of got like an advantage against her. But Hibana's in her element here, and just like, oh yeah, that guy, he's using fire to make mirages. How does that work? Shut the fuck up. It's magic. I don't care at this point.
Well, mirages work because of heat differentials. So if I just use my power to even out that heat, no more mirages for you.
Meanwhile, this is killing Arthur, and she's just like, I only really care about Shinra. And Arthur's just like, I am literally going to die. And she's like,
I stutter.
I don't care. And that's amazing.
There is also a really fun moment where Hibana because like Shinra had been like wrapped up in fire retardant blankets and buckles and such, and tape over his mouth. She pulls the tape off and it's like, okay, I'm gonna untie you now. Maybe I don't.
Oh god, yes, love her.
God damn it, Hibana.
Oh man,
she's like, actually, this is to my advantage.
Yeah. We then also, what's going on simultaneously is Shinra ran back to the warehouse to go help Vulcan, and in there is, I think we've been doing some complaints about Fire Force's power system, but that's not. Lisa has revealed herself to be a 2nd generation fire user, which means she can manipulate flames. And I know what you're thinking. When you manipulate flames, you got to do something weird and useful with it, because I guess you need that. So, and they explain this in the end. Name being Lisa kind of mixes with like the word for like fishing fire or something. And it's a pun, which is why her flames become octopus tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And
it's a really cool aesthetic.
And like, it could just be an aesthetic at this point. We don't care. But then they have to go, my flames are electromagnetic. They are attracted to the electromagneticism of the body. And I'm like, there's so little electromagnetism in the body.
Don't worry, Matt. They'll bring that up later.
That's, even if that is how that worked.
The planet has so much more. I don't.
Yeah.
The metal in the room has more.
The only way you'd get enough magnetism out of fire to do that is if you're generating solar plasma. And if you're generating solar plasma in atmosphere,
everyone in the room is already dead.
I've got bigger concerns than the feasibility of your bullshit.
No, it's fine.
Her powers are cool, but she's just a Soul Eater witch. And Soul Eater witches are cool because they just have spells that are themed off animals.
But I mean, we do know the same manga, same themes, because why are there so many witch references?
Okay, so near the end of what we read, they did something that just made it, I don't know. I think the connection to Soul Eater's a lot clearer than what they're saying it is, but
I mean, yes.
This is more than, it sure is weird that all the characters in Eden Zero look like the characters in Fairy Tail. This is,
by the way, this is similar universe.
Giovanni, while Shinra is working on his grand entrance, Giovanni shot you. That's important.
Yeah, I sure hope they don't have a bunch of shock twists.
To be fair, they say in the line he shot him to be like, he can probably be saved if I use my grand medical knowledge right now. But he'll die eventually from that. Like, they make it clear that's just like a ticking clock, not a I have murdered this child.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, honestly, this is the least egregious of that. It's just like after they already did it so many times.
I can heal him. You need to join me for me to do it.
So now will you tell me where the key to Amaterasu is, Vulcan? The key because your family created Amaterasu? Give me the key. I don't know what you're talking about. There is no key. Wait, you mean I planted a sleeper agent in your workshop, shot this child, wasted years of my life wheedling and dealing you, pulled in so many favors to blacklist you from every junkyard, and you don't even know about the MacGuffin?
So insane, because the
you
point
stupid piece of shit starts whapping him with the cane.
The point of implanting a sleeper agent is to subtly bring up things like where is the key, not to.
But Vulcan refuses to talk about his family trauma.
Yeah, no, that's the worst part, because the thing that Lisa keeps apparently asking, because like they do establish that like Lisa was like prying. The thing that they established that she had been asking about was his past with the company that bankrolls, particularly Company 3, but most of the Fire Force.
The company that is the Empire, essentially.
Yeah. Which, like, if you're on Giovanni's payroll, shouldn't you already know that? Would he not have read you into that?
I don't know what Lisa was doing. Other than being there to hold his arms behind his back so that Giovanni could hit him with a cane. That's not what you use a sleeper agent for.
Apparently, Vulcan's ancestors designed and built Amaterasu, but kept all
you say ancestors. His grandfather did it.
Yeah, but then kept all the like blueprints and design docs, and I guess silenced every worker who helped construct the thing, because it's not a small thing.
It was 100% done by a 2-man team.
Yeah, and then they quit Hajime and walked out and never spoke to anybody from the company again.
And immediately died. Don't forget that.
And immediately died because they were probably artificially ignited as infernals as like punishment.
And
which again brings up timeline questions, which is why I noted it before.
This empire is 100 years old, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
We probably are dumb and just missed the text saying something, but we skimmed over a lot of exposition.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing with this. There is a level of it's very clear that a bunch of things are being made up as it goes along. So they're going to backfill stuff.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, I don't mind when a series does that. I'll two of my favorite mangas
Dragon
of all
Ball.
time do that. Dragon Ball is a really good example of it, but Yu-Gi-Oh did it too, and I really love Yu-Gi-Oh. But the thing is, it becomes obvious after the fact when you're told that those series did that. With Fire Force, it is aggressively blatant that, like, the twists were planned when the chapter started, but not before. And, like, it makes it very easy to see the hand of the author in the worst way. And so, quite frankly, I hate to put it this way, but I don't really feel like putting in the effort to, like, parse Fire Force's deep lore, because they'll just change it chapter by chapter. Like, it's not worth the mental gymnastics to parse the timeline, in my opinion.
I also don't think it matters to parse the timeline, to be fair.
Yeah. So, like, why bother, like, paying attention to this exposition? Just skim it. Like, you're not missing anything.
You get the idea that it's important to the characters in the world, and that's all that really matters. But
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I think this is another one where I feel like it's the same problem, but they implied initially that Lisa was trying to get the Amaterasu key for herself without Giovanni until Giovanni showed up, like there was some kind of factionalism thing going on, but that disappeared quickly, which might explain some of Lisa's weird behavior, but
Lisa also joins the villains at the end, so we might get more on that.
Yeah.
But so Shinra makes his grand entrance. He starts beating up Giovanni, but Lisa joins the fight, wraps him up in the tentacles. Giovanni's beating the shit out of him with his rocket fist. And so now Iris is the only one left, and she's like, please, God, make Sun God, help me. Latom! And she starts slapping buttons, and God heard her, but not the Sun God. The Omniscience protects as all the robots start going haywire.
Ooh, what does this button do?
And then we find out
Omniscience 0110110.
We find out that Vulcan had this planned because how those heads reconnect is with very strong magnets, I guess. And with the heads disconnected, he could turn on their magnetic fields, which disrupts because human magnetic fields are incredibly weak, which seems like you wouldn't want to base your entire firepower off them, but that's just me.
Oh, this is silly.
You could just make
they
it
could
magic.
Just be theme. Or they could just be themed fire. She could like tentacles. That's fine. Lots of people do.
What? Yeah, Tamaki literally just has cat attacks because it's cool. Like Arthur's just a knight because it's cool. She could just have tentacles because she's got a fish pun in her name. Like, it doesn't matter.
No, I read part of one Wikipedia article. There, I have to make the entire power based off of this audio acoustic thing.
My favorite shonen battle manga trope.
Okay, Hideo Kojima.
That is every like early 2000s, late 90s shonen battle manga is I read one article and decided to base an entire power set off it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I read the title of one article.
Yeah.
But yeah, that disrupts Lisa's tentacles, which is cool. Like, it's not uncool, but like...
Oh, yeah, no, they're functional scenes. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Yep. So Shinra beats the crap out of Giovanni, blasts him through a wall. He's like, all right, cool. Time to finish off this bad guy. Holy shit, is that my long lost little brother?
Yeah, because the one thing I love that happened is, as we were saying, Princess Hibana was about to murder Arthur. But the animals getting their heads knocked off happened right in time for a head to smack Hibana in the face and knock her unconscious.
Yep.
That's not my brother-in-law, is it?
We get the meeting of So and Sinra.
It's a lot more of the skimmable exposition stuff. I will say the one thing they have a seconds counter.
Yep.
To illustrate the speed difference.
He is just Virgil.
Yeah, because apparently fire makes you move the speed of light, I guess. I don't even know how that's a firepower.
But Shinra is just like, wait, no, that's totally my long lost brother. wait, this is awesome. Holy crap, my little brother. This is great. I haven't seen you in years. Holy crap.
I made a promise to do anything to protect you, so I will literally switch sides right now to be on your team.
I can finally keep the promise I made to Mom. I'm here to protect you, Sho. I'm on your side. Quick, Arthur, come look. It's my little brother. Look at him. Look at him. He's so cute.
Gotta put a stop to that.
I love how excited Shinra is. It is a genuine. And the one thing he doesn't do is say, I'd switch sides for you, because that's actually their point of conflict. I like how Shinra comes off as optimistic without being delusional. Like, he understands the situation they're in, but he's just so excited to see Sho that, he lets himself be happy.
He also says, man, my brother is such a little hottie. I don't know what to do with that information.
That is.
He means that he's like a really attractive, cute little boy.
So the way you say that is, oh, he's so handsome, not he's such a little hottie. Like, there's a way to say things.
Yeah, that's how I interpreted it.
Hottie implies there is personal attraction from the person saying it, whereas handsome is just like an objective measurement.
Yeah.
Is it objective?
It is more objective.
It's more, yeah. And more, I don't know, platonic?
I don't know.
Not necessarily. No.
Anyway, Sho tells Shinra to show him his motivation and teleports over to him and hits him with a power move. He's just like,
nothing personnel, kid.
You, my brother, the idea is revolting. And yet, our Adola bursts are linked. How curious. Quick, hold on. Let me just go ahead and kill Arthur for a second. Anyway.
This is another good moment for Arthur because Sho is like, wow, you actually survived. Like they make it clear that like Arthur gets like knocked out, but and it looks bad, but Sho is like, impressive. You handled my bullshit anime speed.
Yeah, So is literally like, holy shit, did you react to me cutting you at light speed? That should have killed you.
That's really impressive.
I don't know how to respond to this, so I'm going to ignore it happened.
I do like the stylization of the panel when Sho uses his super speed, because we get like the thing with the seconds counter where it's just like little panels of like zoom ins with tons of white space for the tick down, and then there's another one where it's a bunch of smaller frames inside the greater page, and it's like it's clear how disjointed this is for Shinra because he's spread across the various panels, but Sho exists between them all, like his cape flaring through the white space shows how strong he is. It's really cool. Very strong paneling work.
Honestly, the art and particularly the visual direction of Fire Force is definitely its strong suit. The way that it conveys information through art is impressive. I just wish the rest of it was equally impressive, because then it would...
Everything else is in service of making cool shit happen on panel.
Yeah.
Which is why then the entire workshop explodes!
Woo!
And we get Dr. Light in a like go-kart driving through, going like, "Hey, you guys are all about to die. Get in the go-kart."
It's like one of those compact trucks from like the 30s or something.
With a crane arm. Why wouldn't it have a crane arm?
Because it's got to pick up Hibana, who's knocked unconscious.
Yep.
We get a heartfelt scene that, when you look at the paneling, doesn't make a lot of sense. Of Vulcan reaching out to Lisa to grab her to pull her along, like, be part of my family. But when he does that, they've already started driving away, but it looks like their fingers just touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the direction he's facing is incorrect in the panel where he sees her.
But it's to create the scene of like, oh, does she want to go with him? But she can't because she's too held back by her duty. And it's just like, oh man, ooh, I wonder what's going on there. And then we go like, oh man, they're all going to die. How is this going to work? And then Joker comes out going like, by the way, I brought Dr. Light here. I'm going to fight you. Good thing none of Company 8 saw I'm here.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, cool. Joker's really cool.
Hey, more cool pictures. Oh God, don't make.
Apparently, Joker is just as fast as Show is.
Yeah.
I think the implication is he's not, but he's got like the Mirage stuff. He's got like the Mirage stuff going on. So Show is attacking things that aren't there.
Yeah, he is in the same weight class but weaker, and because of his power set, he's able to. And is he? No, he is fire based too, because he like uses his power to light a cigarette when he's introduced, doesn't he?
Yeah. Joker's got like a weird, is he just the devil kind of thing going on that might be true. Joker is
demons,
one of the.
It makes sense to have devils in here.
I was about to say, Joker as a character in this series could do literally anything, and I wouldn't complain because I'd be like, fuck it, that makes sense. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
He could do anything. Like, it's fine. I accept it. Like, it works for me.
He's a factionless trickster, so he kind of has carte blanche.
It's like Hisoka in Hunter x Hunter. Like, he could do anything with Nen, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I guess that's the thing you can do with Nen. I don't know.
But he distracts Show long enough for the grand escape to happen. They rush you to the hospital, and Vulcan agrees to go into protective custody with Company 8.
They immediately let Vulcan put Halloween decorations all over the church they live in.
Yes.
As you do.
They make a whole big case of like, hey, I know your entire family kind of got broken up and families are meant to dissolve. But I wanted you to join Company 8 on your own terms. And he's just like, yeah, that would have been great, but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
They both kind of revel in how kind of sucky the situation is. And I appreciate that. It gives this whole situation like a moment to breathe and be realistic of like, obviously, I, wanted you to join, our team under better circumstances. Obviously, that didn't happen, and I'm just acknowledging that sucks.
I liked the chapter that was just like, hey, it's kind of shitty to just do the One Piece thing where we solve your childhood trauma and then you immediately abandon all things to join our team. There's one page of it. There's one like chapter of him going like, yeah. Oh, well.
Well, Dad, Grandpa, I'm here to offer you your Grave Goods soda and say that we made our family promise to never work for Hajime or the Fire Force, but I'm going to have to break that.
Disowned.
Yeah.
From the grave.
Disowned in the afterlife.
But he brought us Mocha-Cola.
Yep.
You don't understand. He broke his promise. They were never supposed to be working with fire soldiers.
It's okay. He's going to punk rockify the Fire Citadel.
Yeah, they do say that the Company 8 is specifically anti-Fire Force. In one of these chapters, they just come out and say it, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess that's what we've decided.
Yeah.
Well, because you've revealed every other company is corrupt, including Princess Abana.
Yeah, Princess Abana is corrupt in our favor, but she's still corrupt.
I mean, she's corrupt and actively pursuing a minor, so...
I don't...
They're 19.
Yeah, she's not much older than him either.
Yeah, yeah, she's like in her like early to mid 20s, and he like everyone at the like station is at least college age.
Yeah, Tamaki is 17, but that's because her dad is fire captain, so she got fast tracked.
Right.
Plotline.
Nepotism.
Which is also why she's incompetent, because she's not gone through the training she needs to have gone through. Like, that's part of her thing to. Also, I don't know.
As if we needed any more evidence that the Fire Force was corrupt. Speaking of Fire Force corruption, what are we going to do about the captain of Company Evil?
Yeah, because we do have a surprisingly relevant scene where Shinra's complaining about the decorations being put up, and Obi's like, I don't know, they're kind of punk rock, and we were created to be the internal affairs, basically. We're a bunch of misfits. Let's be punk rock. Come on, devil boy, throw up your devil horns. I'm a hero. Come on, rock and roll.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go have a talk with our conspirators.
Yeah. Then we cut to Dr. Light in a Joker who are talking and just being like, man, sure is glad we got out of that without anyone realizing we were working together. It's like, yeah, by the way, we're going to need to power up Shinra. What? Yeah, he's too weak. We're going to need to make sure his demon grows big and strong. What? Yeah, do it. Okay.
You've convinced me.
So, hey, Captain Obi, Shinra really needs a power up, wouldn't you say? I'm kind of in the middle of a meeting over here, but yeah, I agree with that. Cool. I'm going to take him over to Company 7 so he can get a training
Bancho
regimen in.
trained.
Bye.
Bring Arthur with you. Okay. And they have a very traditional like shonen thing where it's like hit a main character and his rival, where they reveal that like the whole thing is like what Shinra lacks is like a big bombastic power move. Like he's got a lot of good fundamentals. He's got good fight like instincts. He just doesn't have that like one solid burst of power to like break through a wall.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
he can't close out a fight.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Arthur does nothing but close out fights because he's as strong as he needs to be. He just needs to be. Like,
yep.
That doesn't make any sense. It's Arthur. It doesn't have to make sense. We're just going to fight in the background while Shinra thinks about how to make his fire more fire. That also doesn't make sense. Yes.
This is Fire Force.
You see, he just kind of splurges fire out of his feet. So what if he focused his flames and that let him get more velocity going?
Whoa. I'm not understanding this. Use a science metaphor.
You know how jet thrusters work?
Yes, implicitly.
Cool.
Do that with your hands. What? Hands are how you control your feet. What?
Yeah, if you make the proper hand signs, then it'll channel your chakra.
What?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so either Shinra is about to declare believe it, or he's going to unlock the avatar state, whichever comes first.
Yes. I'm here for it.
He does Captain Obi's like devil horns and explodes into the sky.
As you do.
And then Benny's just like, hold on. I'm going to teach you some old man hand exercises to increase the circulation in your feet. Oh, shit. I'm too strong now. I can instantly teleport places. God damn. That's super cool.
And this is how we learn how fire powers make you faster than the speed of light.
I guess, yeah.
We don't learn shit, but we now know Shinra is faster than the speed of light.
We get a chakra diagram.
That doesn't explain anything.
It explains nothing.
I don't know what you're talking
everything
about.
that you need to know for us
So-
intellectuals.
Legitimately, at this point, we've been told enough about a Dolar Burst and how it is not only like the fire, it is the fire of origin. It is like the spark of creation. So the fact that the fire can just do blatantly magic shit seems canonical at this point. It's just the people not realizing it's beyond science.
Yeah.
So they're trying to come up with scientific explanations for...
Because, like, I legitimately, I don't know. I don't know if this is going too far into, like, plot prediction fan theory nonsense, but I'm like, yeah, I think this is just, like, magic. This is just fire magic.
It's possible. And, maybe...
And fire magic is the only magic that anybody knows anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, Arthur just gets beaten up for an arc and it makes him stronger. So that's cool.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which is actually just actual trading. So Shinra really should have been doing something.
Should be doing a lot, okay?
We then cut to Vulcan, who stayed back with the other team, and he's just like, hey, you want me to build you a bunch of fucking cool weapons?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, should you have made Arthur like a really cool knight suit of armor? Nah, he's strong enough already. No, I really think we should just make Arthur really strong, because it seems like that'd be really easy to do and a much better use of our time. No, I want to give Maki some arm cannons.
We're going to give Maki funnels instead of continuing to turn Arthur into Saber. Oh, God, he is a Saber.
He has a saber.
Maki cannot use funnel. She is the oldest old type conceivable. She's more of an old type than... Oh, no, wait, that joke takes way too much setup. Never mind.
I was about to say, I didn't even know what you were referencing, Jacob.
Gundam.
Oh, yep, that makes sense.
She gets a cute witch hat out of it, though, so all is right with the world.
She's had the witch hat.
I know.
Okay.
But
she gets a thing she's had before. She gets these two cool, cute fire familiars.
They are cute.
I say she gets it because she says, I even made a hat to go with this new weapon. So maybe it's a different version of the witch. I don't fucking know.
It might be a different hat.
I don't remember the witch hat, but it doesn't matter.
I'm not going back to the start of the manga to figure it out. The point is, Yu has turned his bed into Big Hero 6.
I don't understand. Did you do this, or is this just what beds come with in hospitals? I don't.
No, he totally did this because his nurse is kind of like awkwardly like, you escaped, but also this is kind of a weird situation.
Either you did or Vulcan did. They're not super clear about it.
I was enamored by the bed. I thought it was cute. Shinra thought it was weird.
Cool.
I thought it was cute.
This is awesome. I'm still getting my bed rest, but it lets me move around outside the hospital. And the nurse is just like, that's not how bed rest works.
That defeats the purpose entirely.
But I'm still in bed.
Oh my god.
Technically correct.
I'm really grateful I got shot. Now I have more people to be thankful for saving my life.
Yep.
Yeah, essentially.
That's a perspective.
I love having life debt to people.
Yes. He loves collecting the life debt.
This kid is a professional NPC.
Can I add that to my resume?
You can.
Professional NPC. You're
First
welcome.
Shinra saved my life, and then Vulcan, now Iris, and Maki, you're Shinra's senpai, so basically he was able to save my life because of you, so you saved my life too. This is great. I have so many life debts.
Yes.
That sure is a perspective.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
And then
He's giving out all the XP.
Yep. And then we end on a cliffhanger of the evangelist saying something ominous in their little bunker.
Yeah, because Victor, on top, Dr. Light, on top of sending Shinra and Arthur to Company 7 for a training arc, was also investigating Victor's workshop, doing a forensic investigation to learn more about the evangelists, and through this was able to figure out
Holmes his way into a conclusion.
All their material comes specifically from deep underground, meaning that they're in the Nether.
Da-na-na-na.
So we're going into the sewers, I guess.
I guess. Or we're gonna make an obsidian portal.
Do it.
And that brings us to the end of our reading.
Yeah, did we mention that the fire organization had some random guy show up and pretend to be the captain?
The whole they just got
yeah.
a body swap and a whole bunch of people just quote unquote left, but
someone stole the captain's mask, and then half the department left because they were spies.
I mean, Hibana immediately is just like, yeah, they're all spies. So yeah, now headquarters doesn't view like Team 3 as being legitimate. So they already are like 10 steps ahead of everyone.
See, the problem is I don't know if headquarters views Team 3 as less legitimate, or if 8 and 5 are the ones that are illegitimate, because it seems like every other team is evil. Oh, I guess 7, but
yeah.
Well, yeah, but they are as disconnected from the
organization
main group as possible. Yeah, no, this is starting to very heavily imply that the entire organization is just corrupt. That like the evangelist is like the emperor or something.
Which we knew when they said Team 8 was made to investigate corruption. You're like, oh, well, then the entire thing is corrupt, like, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm just saying 100% my fan theory is that 8 was literally stood up just because of either some whistleblowers or just a safe face for the civilian population of like, there's some pretty shady stuff happening. I mean, maybe we need to have a team that just like does oversight and investigate to make sure things are on the up and up. And then they just kind of threw together Team 8.
It's
not expecting them to actually do anything, you know?
It's been a bit, but wasn't that explicitly confirmed in our reading?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Thus brings us to the end of our reading.
So, do we have any questions that I haven't already answered?
Favorite character and favorite fight?
Well, we all know my favorite character is Arthur. No explanation needed. And my favorite fight, I am actually... Okay, I have two fights that I really enjoyed. The first one, I would have to say, was the fight where we get... God, I forget his name, but Waka?
Oh, yeah, Benny.
The fight where he, like, breaks out his, like, mops or brooms or whatever, and just full on, like, goes on a manhunt. Yes. And obviously when he calls for the entire village to fight each other, that was kind of out of pocket. Whatever works. And then the second fight would have to be Arthur's donkey incident, because damn right, he is the embodiment of just believe it and it will be so. That he operates solely off of just believing hard enough.
Jay, I'm gonna have to ask you don't call things donkey incidents going forward.
Okay.
My favorite character in this was actually like Captain Obi. He had a great showing with the fight against Benny, and his whole thing of like needing to shoulder the weight of his squad of it really feels more like he's coming together as a character, not just as like, oh, I'm the responsible older like member of the team, but I'm also like not a shonen hero, so I have to train really hard. It like he was two pretty cookie cutter character things, but he feels like he's really building out as a character, and taking charge not just as the leader of his squad, but also like the leader of this conspiracy of rebellion?
Question mark?
It feels like he's stepping into bigger shoes and fitting them quite nicely. I like Obi. He's cool. But yeah, my favorite fight is also the Don Quixote rides out because it had great use of, Arthur's gimmick. He hit the noble phantasm, the Excalibur. I had to stop the music I was listening to just to put on the Sword of Promised Victory.
I thought you were gonna say the Excalibur theme song from Soul Eater.
I mean that too. Yes, put that on.
I'm just saying, from United King, he's looking for him. He's going to California.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Matt, how about you?
Oh, Arthur ate this entire reading. He was good in all of his fights. He had a great buddy cop with Shinra. He had probably one of the best fights in our entire reading, if not all of Fire Force so far. I don't know. He's just a cool guy who's got some great comedy. He doesn't, I don't know. You can make a stupid character that gets really annoying, but Arthur legitimately hits that perfect balance of he's not stupid. He just doesn't give a shit about anything that isn't being a knight.
Yeah, basically he's a knight savant and everything else is irrelevant and stupid. And I appreciate that. Or no, I understand it. I don't know if I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's fair. Because the thing about Arthur, they did a good job in this section of not having him come off as a liability, because he's come off as a liability in other reading sections. He was really good in this, though.
Jacob, him forgetting he was left-handed is the funniest thing I have read in most mangas. And I will not back down from that.
Oh, I am left-handed.
Oh shit, I was left-handed. No wonder I've been losing this fight. Better win in one attack. That's some Kenpachi Zerachi level bullshit.
I'm not kidding. Honestly, part of this makes me want to train myself to be ambidextrous just so I could pull that out of my back pocket. Oh, right!
I do have a dominant hand.
No wonder. Oh, yeah, and then my favorite fight, I'm actually gonna not pick the Arthur fight in this. I really liked Shinra, the second part where he was like chasing after the arrow, and Benny's kind of whole thing of like piercing the demon into the sky and the armor. It was just a lot of spectacle, and I thought it was really cool. And I don't know. I just like the Enola Link, I think is what?
Adola Link?
The Adola Link?
Yeah.
Like the thing that lets him hear people's prayers, which is weird, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
So Jacob, favorite character, favorite fight?
There was a fox amongst the robots, so I'm gonna go with that for my favorite. No,
you mean the twins? There were two foxes.
Yeah, no, there were three foxes. This is the best manga ever. And honestly, I do actually like the twins. They were kind of fun.
The twins were fire. Okay, they had lots of good ones.
Literally, they were literally fire. Yes, you are correct. But honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go with Princess Hibana. She's just a really fun character. Yeah.
I like that they haven't like fully redeemed her after her villain arc. She's still pretty evil.
She's not. Yeah. No. She like her motivations have changed, but her core character has not changed, and that's good character writing. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Princess Hibana, and well, I was gonna say Shinra chasing after the arrow and finishing off the demon in the sky was gonna be my, but I can't agree with Matt. That's just the rules. So I guess I'll say that yeah, you know what, Princess Hibana was my favorite character. Big damn hero mode, and single-handedly turns the tide. That was cool. My actual pick is the kicking the arrow, because that was just amazing. But yeah.
All right, so getting into plot predictions, and I think Matt and I have the same thing we want to talk about with the Adola Burst and the Adola Link.
Well, then go, go, Jacob. You do your plot prediction now.
Obviously, Jacob, you go first.
No, you go first, Sam.
It strikes me as sort of a like a Dark Souls First Flame situation, where there was the original like fire, the first source of all of this, and after it got contained in Amaterasu, it has been like split off and has manifested in people, and it could be like an actual divine fire, like something from the sun god, or a similar force, which is why it can allow Shinra to essentially hear prayers, hear the thoughts of people calling out for aid. Or see, at first it seems like the thing with Giovanni disputes that, but it still called him to the right place at the right time. So it's a kind of divine providence in that way. So that's what I think it is. Like the burst is, just like a fragment of that first fire that's manifested in him. And the link, well, Shu says it's linked specifically to him. So it's probably a link between different people who have the burst. And I don't know, call it the string of fate that makes stand users find each other in JoJo or something.
So does that mean we have to go to the Frigid Outskirts to complete our build?
No, the Frigid Outskirts. That's the worst zone in the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Matt.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. And also just like narratively, the idea that this kid was called a demon and has all these like demonly things, if he is then like some kind of demigod, if not like the reincarnation of Amaterasu, or Amaterasu is like some dying god in a vat that needs that's like is being rejuvenated by Shinra.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've got this guy who's getting stronger and is hearing the prayers of people in his head. I don't know. Just thematically feels like it all lines up together.
Indeed.
That actually makes me think of something. So I was going to make a joke of my plot prediction being they're going to make it up, because again, particularly in this reading section, you could see the hand of the author pretty hard. But that's mostly true for like moment to moment plot developments. The overall plot seems to be at least somewhat understood. and like mentioning the idea of it's like Shinra being like connected to like literally Amaterasu. He specifically gets the premonition in his feet, and the feet, like his feet, are where the fire powers come from.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, that makes me think of Scried, the anime series Scried, where
we did get some weird floating armor in this reading too.
Where, like, because like one of the elements of Scried is that all of the principal altar users from that series are all parts of a single body. Like, for example, Ryuho Zetsue is the torso. Kazuma's fist is obviously the arms. And like that, they all like represent pieces of a whole body. And perhaps like people who have like the Adola bursts are like pieces of a singular body. So like Shinra is the feet, and there are other characters that represent other body parts, and that's like where their fire powers come from. I don't think that there's enough evidence to really make that a solid theory. It's just the immediate thing I thought of.
Yeah. It could also explain why Shu has, the high-speed powers. The link could be that, like, they both have the fire in their feet. They both got can't heat in their heels and can move at high speed because of it.
Because their mom got the sun.
Yes.
As you do.
That's why you don't drink Sunny D while pregnant, kids.
Jay, do you have any thoughts on the story?
I certainly do have some thoughts. Mostly, I think that Shinra is being pursued. It kind of tracks from our previous reading. I think Shinra is being pursued because he is essentially going to the entire world in some form. How his powers will manifest, I don't quite know yet. But I feel like it's going to be connected with some of the Naruto / Avatar chakra rules or something.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be more of that.
He's going to start doing gang signs and become more powerful.
Yes.
He's going to open all the gates and turn into the sun.
He's going to unlock his fire horns that have a sun glowing between them.
Yes. Either that, and he will have to fight the devil himself, which may or may not be the Joker. We don't know. But the fact that there are whether they are actual demons, do we actually get confirmation that these are like hell demons?
We do not.
We do not.
Yeah.
So
you're right. Hell might exist, and they might need to go there to punch Satan in the face.
That's
and then find out.
Yeah, we've experienced a lot of craziness. That if it happened,
I would
not.
Yeah.
But then when they punch Satan in the face, they hit him so hard he has to wear a mask, and then his fists are too strong. He needs to wear some foam chopping hands on them, and then he's gonna have a son.
And his son is going to be really OCD.
And his son is also going to meet two
Princess
twins.
Savannah because she's on that.
Nope.
I don't know what they're referencing either.
On that note, would you continue reading?
From Jay, absolutely yes. Yes, this is a banger. I've listened to all the OPs. I love it. I love the plot. I love characters, and I love Arthur. So yes.
I don't know. I might have to. I'd probably just have to skim more because I found myself doing that a lot, particularly in the Vulcan art. I'm like, damn, they are yapping.
They got important stuff to say, Sam.
I guess.
Stuff.
I'll give it a soft no, just for this arc in particular. This is like the first time I guess I could say one of our readings has disappointed me.
Wow. That's
Sam normally loves trash. I think he even said he'd read Am I the Strongest?
I said no such thing about that.
My memory of that is you actually loved that and you said, wow, this is really good.
No, I did not. Do not believe his lies.
Oh, right. He liked the Kagurabachi episode. That's right.
No one likes the Kagurabachi episode.
That joke is just too silly for anyone to take seriously.
Anyway, Matt, would you continue reading?
I think yes. I think this fits a nice niche of a battle shonen that clearly doesn't take itself seriously. So I'm not expected to take it seriously. So I can kind of just vibe and enjoy the giant cool fire panels. Because when it hits hard. And when it goes into exposition hell, I don't have to pay attention because it doesn't matter. And, that's a great balance to have for me.
Fair. And Jacob.
And all is right with the world, because I'm going to go with a fairly solid no. I'm fine with doing more episodes of it, but I wouldn't read it on my own. It's basically just brain dead spectacle. Thank goodness it's better than solo leveling, but it's kind of the same problem for me. I like to have a little bit more meat on the bones. When I consume media, I mostly focus on the characters, so the fact that the characters are good, but they're fairly thin, so not much appeal for me.
But you have Arthur.
Yeah, he sure does exist.
Shame.
We sure do have Arthur.
See, Arthur should have been a blonde lesbian, and then...
yeah, then it would have been a perfect 10 out of 10 with absolutely no flaw.
Then it doesn't matter how thin of a character it was, Jacob would say.
Yeah, best character
she's
of
so
all
deep.
time. Yeah, best character of all time, obviously.
Yeah.
God, what was that? Oh, that one series where they the school wanted them to for extra credit.
Oh,
Yep.
And then we're surprised that their grades were plummeting. Like what? Like what?
That's not what this episode's about. So
if you know.
And thank you, everybody, once again for tuning into the Over Manga Cast. As always, you can find us on all your social medias where we are at Over Manga Cast.
You can also find us on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. Our episodes go up there on a 2-week delay, so if you want to catch our up-to-date stuff, head over to overmangacast.com. We even have a comment section there where you can give us recommendations, tell us to read more Fire Force, tell us to read more something less than Lovers or whatever it was.
we're never reading more of that. I think that's pretty clear.
You always hate the things I like.
Oh, Jacob, that's not what that one was. That was the other one. I can't remember the title of that piece of crap, but we're never reading that again.
You get so much hate on this podcast.
And as always, we appreciate reviews in any and all form. Reach out to us overmangacast.com, overmangacast@gmail.com. The people who noticed that episode we missed because we lost the audio for Witch Hat Atelier, thanks for reaching out, wondering if we were okay. Little we could do. It happened too late in the production cycle. We couldn't work around it. But we're here now. And also, you might notice there's been a delay between when that happened and when I'm talking about it. That's about the schedule we work at. So, spoilers. But speaking of spoilers, Sam, what are we reading next week?
Next week, we're going to be reading My Hero Academia Vigilantes, chapters 1 through 8. So if you're keeping up with the show, be sure to read that, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.